The call came on a Thursday morning while I was in the cockpit, 35,000 feet over Kansas. Captain Morrison, you have a call from your home number on the emergency line. My co-pilot gave me a concerned look. Emergency calls during flights meant one thing. Something was seriously wrong. I grabbed the headset, my mind already racing through possibilities. Heart attack? Car accident? One of the grandkids hurt? Richard? It wasn't Karen's voice. It was Mrs. Rodriguez, our 72-year-old neighbor. Richard, I'm so sorry to call you like this, but I couldn't wait. There's something you need to know. Mrs. Rodriguez? Is Karen okay? What happened? She's fine. Physically, she's fine. There was a long pause. Richard, I need you to check your home security cameras when you land. The ones in your living room and driveway. Check the footage from yesterday afternoon, around 2 o'clock, and Tuesday. And the Thursday before that, my hands tightened on the controls. What are you talking about? There's a young man, blue sedan. He comes every Tuesday and Thursday, always at 2, always when you're gone on your long flights. He stays for 3, sometimes 4 hours. I thought maybe he was a contractor at first, but then I realized the same car, the same schedule, for 3 months now. Richard, I'm 82 years old. I've seen enough in my life to know when something isn't right. The world seemed to tilt. 27 years of marriage. 2 kids, grown and married themselves. 4 grandchildren. Karen and I had survived my absences, the long stretches when I was flying international routes. We'd built a life around trust, around the understanding that my job required sacrifice, but that we were solid, unshakable. Are you sure? I wish I wasn't. Her voice cracked. I debated calling you for 2 weeks, but my husband, he passed 12 years ago. He had someone on the side for 3 years before I found out. Everyone knew. The neighbors, his coworkers, even our own children suspected. But nobody told me. They all thought it wasn't their business. When I finally discovered the truth, I felt like such a fool. I swore if I ever saw it happening to someone else, I wouldn't stay silent. I landed that plane on autopilot. Literally. My mind was somewhere over Texas while my body went through the motions of bringing 214 passengers safely to the ground in Phoenix. The moment I reached the crew lounge, I pulled up my phone and accessed our home security system. Karen had insisted we install it last year after a rash of burglaries in the neighborhood. Ironically, she'd been the one who wanted cameras everywhere. Driveway, front door, living room, kitchen. For our safety, she'd said. I scrolled back to Tuesday, 2 days ago. 1:55 p.m. Our driveway was empty. 2:03 p.m. A blue Honda Civic pulled in. A man got out, late 20s, athletic build, wearing gym clothes. He walked to our front door like he owned the place. Karen opened it before he knocked. She was wearing that white sundress I liked, the one I'd bought her for our anniversary last year. She kissed him, not a friendly peck. A kiss that made my stomach drop. They disappeared inside. I switched to the living room camera, watched them laugh together on our couch, watched her pour him a glass of wine from the bottle we'd been saving for a special occasion, watched her lean into him the way she used to lean into me. I checked Thursday's footage. Same routine, same man, same intimacy. I went back further, week after week, always Tuesday and Thursday, always at 2, like clockwork, like my flight schedule. My phone rang. Mrs. Rodriguez, did you check? I did. My voice sounded hollow, even to myself. I'm so sorry, Richard. I'm so sorry. Thank you for telling me. I mean that. Thank you. What will you do? I stared at the frozen image on my screen, Karen and this stranger in my living room, drinking my wine, sitting on my couch, in my house. I don't know yet, but I won't do anything stupid. Good. Think it through. I'm here if you need to talk. I had 3 days before my next flight. 3 days to figure out what to do with the information that was currently burning a hole through my chest. I didn't go home that night. I checked into a hotel near the airport and sat in the dark, watching the footage over and over, looking for clues I'd missed. Trying to understand when the woman I'd trusted for 27 years had become someone I didn't recognize. Around midnight, I opened my laptop and started a document. Years of flying had taught me one critical lesson. When facing a crisis, you don't panic. You assess. You gather data. You make a plan. I titled it Evidence Log. Entry 1, Tuesday, November 12th. 2:03 p.m. Blue Honda Civic. License plate visible in driveway footage. Man. Approximately 28 to 32 years old. Brown hair. 6'1". Athletic build. Enters house. Stays until 5:47 p.m. I worked backward through 3 months of footage, documenting every visit, every kiss, every time she opened the door with that smile I thought was reserved for me. 42 visits total. Always on my long-haul flight days. Always the same precise timing. But something else caught my attention as I cataloged the evidence. In several clips, I could see papers on the kitchen counter. Documents that looked official. In one clip from 3 weeks ago, Karen and the man were both leaning over something, signing papers together. I enhanced the image as much as I could on my laptop. I could make out a letterhead. Pacific Life Insurance Company. That's when the betrayal shifted from painful to terrifying. I called my insurance agent the next morning. Hey Tom, it's Richard Morrison. Quick question, did Karen recently increase my life insurance policy? Oh, hey, Richard. Yeah, actually she did. About 2 months ago. Doubled it to $4 million. She said you guys were planning some investments and wanted to make sure everything was covered. Why? Having second thoughts? No, just wanted to confirm, thanks. $4 million, double what we'd had. And I'd never discussed it with her. I hung up and immediately called my attorney, Michael Chen. We'd known each other for 15 years, played golf together twice a month when I was in town. Michael, I need you to pull all my legal documents. Life insurance policies, will, property deeds, bank accounts, everything. I need to see what I actually have versus what I think I have. Richard, what's going on? I can't explain yet. Just, please, treat this as urgent. 2 hours later, I was sitting in his office, looking at documents I should have been monitoring all along. The life insurance increase Karen had forged my signature. Michael held up my signature from our original policy next to the new documents. That's not your handwriting, Richard. I've seen your signature 1,000 times. This is close, but it's not yours. My will had been changed 6 months ago. I didn't remember signing a new will. According to this version, if I died, everything went to Karen immediately, with no trust provisions for our children, like the original had specified. This is also forged, Michael said, his jaw tight. Richard, these are felonies. Multiple felonies. There's more. I pulled up the security footage on my phone, showed him the affair, the documents on the kitchen counter. I think my wife is planning to kill me. Michael's face went pale. We need to call the police. Right now. Not yet. I need to understand the full picture. Who is this guy? What's the plan? If I go to the police now with just suspicions, she might talk her way out of it. I need concrete evidence. Richard, if you're right, if she's actually planning to murder you, every day you wait is dangerous. I'm a pilot, Michael. I assess risk for a living. Right now, she thinks I'm clueless. The moment I confront her or involve police, I lose that advantage. Give me 1 week. Help me build an airtight case. He didn't like it, but he understood. 1 week. And you don't go anywhere alone with her. I hired a private investigator that afternoon. Her name was Sarah Chen. No relation to Michael. Former FBI. Specialized in infidelity and fraud cases. I need everything, I told her. Who he is, where he works, his connection to Karen, financial records, communications, everything. I'll need access to her phone records, email, bank accounts. Whatever you need, I'll get it. That night, I went home for the first time since Mrs. Rodriguez's call. Karen was in the kitchen making dinner, humming along to the radio. She looked up when I walked in, her face lighting up with that familiar smile. You're home early. I thought you had another 2 days. Schedule changed. They needed someone for a different route. I set my bag down, watched her carefully, looking for guilt, for nervousness, for any sign that she knew she'd been caught. Nothing. Just the same Karen who'd kissed me goodbye a week ago. Well, I'm glad you're home. I've missed you. She came over to hug me. I stood there, letting her embrace me, while my mind cataloged all the ways she'd betrayed that trust. The affair, the forged signatures, the doubled life insurance, the changed will. Missed you too, I managed. That week was the longest of my life. I played the devoted husband while building my case. I logged into our home computer when she was at her book club. She'd left herself logged into her email. I found messages to Jason, the man from the footage, plans, schedules, and one email that made my blood run cold. December 15th. The Cessna rental is confirmed. You know what to do. Make it look like engine failure. Remote area. No witnesses. I'll be devastated. The grieving widow. And then we're free, baby. Free and rich. December 15th was next month. My birthday. I'd mentioned to Karen weeks ago that I was thinking of renting a small plane for old time's sake, maybe flying up the coast solo for a day trip. She'd encouraged it. Said I deserved a day to myself. She was planning to have this Jason sabotage the plane. I forwarded the email to Sarah and Michael. Then I deleted any trace that I'd seen it. Sarah came back with the full background check 3 days later. Jason Mercer, 29, personal trainer at the gym Karen had joined 8 months ago. No criminal record, but drowning in debt, credit cards maxed out, student loans in default, car about to be repossessed. He's desperate, Sarah said. Perfect target for someone looking for a willing accomplice. How did they connect? According to her credit card statements, she's been paying for private training sessions with him 3 times a week since March. I'm guessing the affair started there and evolved into this plan. Can we prove the murder plot? The email helps, but it's not enough. She could claim it was a joke, taken out of context. We need more. We need them to incriminate themselves beyond any reasonable doubt. What if we give them what they want? Sarah looked at me sharply. Meaning? I go through with the plane rental, but we control every variable. We record everything. We catch them in the act. Richard, that's insane. Even with precautions, you'd be putting yourself at risk. Less risk than doing nothing. Less risk than confronting her now and having her lawyer up before we have solid proof. I want them both in prison for a long time. That requires ironclad evidence. Michael objected too when I told him the plan, but eventually they both agreed. With conditions. Sarah would have surveillance on Jason 24/7. The FBI would be brought in. This was attempted murder conspiracy. Federal charges were possible with the insurance fraud. The plane would be thoroughly inspected before and after Jason had access to it. I'd wear a wire for every conversation with Karen from here on out. And Mrs. Rodriguez's security cameras, the ones she'd installed after her own experience with betrayal, would capture everything that happened at my house while I was flying. The next 2 weeks were carefully choreographed. I played my part perfectly. Excited about the birthday flight, mentioning it to Karen over dinner, watching her encourage me, loving the idea, suggesting I make a whole day of it. You work so hard, honey. You deserve this. Every word was recorded. I rented the Cessna. Told Karen the date was set, December 15th, just like in the email. Watched her eyes light up. That night, she made love to me with an enthusiasm we hadn't had in years. I lay there afterward, staring at the ceiling, wondering how someone could be so convincing, how she could touch me, kiss me, whisper I love you while planning my murder. December 14th, the day before the flight, I told Karen I needed to run some errands. Instead, I met with FBI agent Morrison, no relation, and the team that would be monitoring the operation. We'll have eyes on the plane all night, she assured me. The moment Jason Mercer shows up, we'll have him on camera. And the plane has been rigged with cameras inside. Whatever he does, we'll catch it. And if something goes wrong, nothing will go wrong. But you're not flying that plane tomorrow. We'll have a pilot double for the initial takeoff, then bring it right back. You'll be in protective custody the entire time. I nodded. But I already knew I wouldn't follow that part of the plan. I needed Karen to believe I was dead, even if just for a few hours. I needed to see her reaction. I needed to know if there was any part of her that would regret it. That night, I couldn't sleep. I went downstairs around 2 a.m. and found Karen in the kitchen, her laptop open. She closed it quickly when she heard me. Can't sleep either? She asked. Excited about tomorrow, I guess? She smiled. My adventurous husband. I poured myself a glass of water, Stood there looking at her. 27 years, 2 children born, Christmases and birthdays and anniversaries, hospitals and funerals and celebrations. The whole life we'd built together. Karen, can I ask you something? Of course. Are you happy? With us, I mean. With our marriage. She didn't hesitate. Of course I am. Why would you ask that? I'm gone so much. I worry sometimes that you feel alone. She got up, came over to me, put her hands on my face. I have everything I need right here. You, our kids, our life together. I'm the luckiest woman alive. She was good, so incredibly good at lying. I kissed her forehead. I love you. I love you too. Now go get some sleep. You have an early morning, December 15th, my birthday, and the day my wife thought I would die. I left the house at 6 a.m. Karen was still asleep, or pretending to be. I didn't kiss her goodbye. Couldn't bring myself to. Sarah picked me up 3 blocks away. Ready? As I'll ever be. The FBI had already swept the plane. Jason had broken in around 3 a.m., clearly visible on the cameras. They had footage of him tampering with the fuel line and the altimeter. Deliberate sabotage designed to cause engine failure at high altitude. He's good, Agent Morrison said, showing me the footage. Someone taught him exactly where to hit. This would have looked like a tragic accident. But it won't. No, it won't. The decoy pilot took off at 8 a.m., exactly when I'd scheduled. He radioed in engine trouble 10 minutes later, turned back immediately, landed safely. By design, the malfunction was obvious enough to trigger an investigation, but not dangerous enough to actually crash. Meanwhile, I was in an FBI surveillance van, watching everything unfold. At 8:47 a.m., Karen's phone rang. The decoy pilot, playing his part. Mrs. Morrison? This is John at Pacific Flight Services. I'm afraid I have concerning news. Your husband's plane experienced a malfunction shortly after takeoff. Oh my God! Is he okay? Oscar-worthy performance. The plane went down about 15 miles off the coast. We've got search and rescue on the way, but... Mrs. Morrison, you should prepare yourself. She sobbed. Perfect. Heartbroken sobs. Please tell me he's alive. We're doing everything we can. I'll call you as soon as we know more. She hung up, and exactly 45 seconds later, I timed it, she called Jason. It's done, she said. No tears now. Her voice was calm, almost businesslike. They just called. The plane went down. Search and rescue is looking, but they don't expect to find survivors. Are you okay? His voice was shaky. I'm perfect. Give it 3 days. Then we'll start the insurance claim. 1 week after that, we're in the Bahamas. Just like we planned. I can't believe we actually did it. I told you it would work. Now listen. You need to act natural. Go to work. Regular routine. We can't see each other until after the funeral. Understood? Understood. I love you, Karen. I know, baby. Soon. Soon we'll have everything we ever wanted. Every word was recorded. Every second was documented. I sat in that van, listening to my wife celebrate my death, and felt something inside me die too. Not the part that loved her that had died the moment I saw the security footage. This was the part that had hoped, somewhere deep down, that there was an explanation, that I'd misunderstood, that the woman I'd married was still in there somewhere. She wasn't. You okay? Sarah asked quietly. Yeah. Let's finish this. The plan was simple. Let Karen think she'd won. Let her go through the motions of the grieving widow. Document every lie, every fake tear, every move toward claiming the insurance money. Build an airtight case. Then bring the hammer down. But Mrs. Rodriguez called me directly. Richard, I know you're not supposed to be on your phone, but Karen just left the house. She's at that man's apartment right now. I followed her. You followed her? I'm 82, not dead. She thinks she's gotten away with murder. She's celebrating. I think you need to see this. Agent Morrison looked at me. Your call. I thought about it for maybe 5 seconds. Let's go. We pulled up outside Jason's apartment complex 40 minutes later. Sarah had already hacked into the building's security system. Turns out being ex-FBI has its advantages. We watched the lobby camera feed on her tablet. Karen was there, in Jason's arms, laughing. Actually laughing. She was wearing black mourning clothes. But she was radiant. "I think we have enough," Agent Morrison said. "We can arrest them both right now." "Not yet. I want to see her face when she realizes I'm alive." They set up quickly. FBI surrounded the building. Local police on standby. Sarah gave me a wire to wear. Agent Morrison tried one more time to convince me to stay in the van. I ignored her and walked into the building. The elevator ride up to the third floor felt like it took hours. Every breath was measured. Every heartbeat counted. I'd flown through thunderstorms, navigated emergency landings, made split-second decisions at 30,000 feet. But nothing had prepared me for this moment. I knocked on apartment 3C. Jason opened the door. The color drained from his face. "What? How?" I pushed past him. Karen was on the couch, wine glass in hand. She saw me and dropped it. Red wine spread across the white carpet like blood. "Richard." It came out as a whisper. "Surprise." I kept my voice level. "I hear congratulations are in order. You two must be so relieved that your plan worked." I don't understand." Karen stood up, her hands shaking. "They said the plane crashed. They lied." "Well, technically, I lied. Or rather, the FBI lied on my behalf. Turns out when you plot to murder someone, especially with insurance fraud involved, the authorities take it pretty seriously." Jason bolted for the door. 2 FBI agents were waiting. He was on the ground, cuffed, before he made it 3 steps. Karen's face cycled through emotions, shock, fear, confusion, and finally, calculation. I could see her brain working, trying to find an angle, an explanation. "Richard, whatever you think is happening, I know exactly what's happening. I've known for 2 weeks. The affair, the forged signatures, the increased life insurance, the sabotage plane. I know everything, Karen. Every single detail." "The plane was actually sabotaged?" She tried to look horrified. Still acting, even now. I pulled out my phone, played the recording of her phone call to Jason, her voice clear as day. "It's done. The plane went down." Her face crumbled. "Why?" I asked. It was the only question that mattered. 27 years. Our children. Our grandchildren. Our life. Why? She sat back down, her hands in her lap. When she looked up at me, the mask was finally gone. "Because I was tired, Richard. Tired of waiting for you. Tired of being alone. Tired of living in a nice house with nice things and a husband who was never there." "So you decided to kill me?" "I decided to start over. With someone who actually wanted to be with me. And yes, the money helped. $4 million buys a lot of new starts. You threw away our entire life for a personal trainer half your age and insurance money. I threw away a life that wasn't really a life. You were married to your job, Richard. I was just there." Agent Morrison walked in then, badge visible. "Karen Morrison, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, insurance fraud, forgery, and attempted fraud. You have the right to remain silent." Karen looked at me one last time. "I really did love you. Once. A long time ago." "I don't believe you," I said. And I walked out. The arrests made national news. Pilot's wife plots murder for insurance money. Jason Mercer cracked during interrogation. Gave up everything how Karen had seduced him. Convinced him the marriage was already dead. Promised him half the insurance money if he helped make me disappear. He'd been the one to research how to sabotage small planes, to set up the rental under false pretenses, to execute the plan. He got 15 years. Karen got 25. The forged documents alone would have put her away for a decade. The conspiracy to commit murder sealed it. Our children were devastated. Our daughter didn't speak to me for 3 months, as if somehow this was my fault for setting up their mother. Our son understood better. He'd seen Karen's coldness over the years, the way she'd grown distant and bitter. The grandchildren were young enough that we could shield them from most of it. Mrs. Rodriguez came to every court date, sat in the gallery, brought me coffee, let me rant when I needed to. "I'm glad you got justice," she told me after the sentencing. "My husband's affair partner never faced consequences. He died before I could even confront him about it. But you did this right. I couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have. But I'm glad you didn't have to. I sold the house. Too many ghosts. Bought a condo downtown, closer to my kids. Took early retirement from the airline. Turned out I'd lost my taste for flying. These days I volunteer at a men's crisis center, helping other guys navigate divorce and betrayal. I tell them my story as a cautionary tale. Trust your instincts. When someone tells you something's wrong, listen. And if you're going to take revenge, do it legally, methodically, and completely. Sometimes I think about that moment when Karen dropped the wine glass, the split second when she realized her plan had failed, that I was alive, that she'd lost everything. I don't feel satisfaction. Exactly. Just a profound sadness for what could have been. If she'd chosen differently. If she'd chosen us. But she didn't. She chose murder. She chose betrayal. She chose greed over love. And in the end, justice chose prison. I visit Mrs. Rodriguez every Sunday now. We have coffee, share stories about our weeks, laugh about the absurdity of it all. She's become one of my closest friends. The unlikely hero of my story. Do you ever regret not just divorcing her? She asked me once. Taking the easier path? I thought about it. No, because she would have done this to someone else. Jason might have actually succeeded in killing his next target. She needed to face real consequences. You saved lives, Mrs. Rodriguez said. Hers, even though she doesn't see it that way. Jason's. Maybe your own, in more ways than one. Last month, I got a letter from Karen's attorney. She wanted to talk, wanted to explain, wanted, I think, forgiveness. I didn't respond. Some betrayals are too deep, too calculated, too complete for forgiveness. Some people make choices that permanently sever the bonds of trust and love. Karen made her choice, and I made mine. I'm 63 years old now. I never thought I'd be starting over at this age. But here I am, single, retired, learning to build a new life from the wreckage of the old one. And you know what? I'm okay. Because I'm alive. And I'm free. And every morning when I wake up, I'm grateful for neighbors who speak up, for FBI agents who take threats seriously, and for the chance to survive the person who was supposed to love me most. That's my story. The day I learned my wife was planning to murder me for insurance money, and how I made sure she'd spend the next 25 years regretting it. If you ever get that call from a concerned friend, a suspicious neighbor, a gut feeling that something's wrong, listen, trust your instincts, and don't be afraid to dig deeper. Sometimes the person sleeping next to you is the greatest threat you'll ever face. And sometimes the stranger who barely knows you will be the one who saves your life.